Hello and welcome to a Halloween special with myself, Lex, and Darrion.
Hey.
How are you doing, Darrion?
Not too bad. Can
Yeah.
you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you good.
Can you hear me
Absolutely.
okay? Good.
We're here to protect the world from misogynistic men, to educate them over and over again. Enough of the Team Rocket. That's my performance done. But you know what? I'm excited to have you here, and I think we should get straight into it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Okay, we're going to get into some complex conversations. So, how are we?
Uh,
How are we?
not too bad. I'm
Not too bad.
doing good. How are you?
I'm good. It feels like an honour to actually have you here.
Oh, stop it.
No, it does, because I'll tell you why. When you first joined my space, I was like, who is this guy? And then suddenly you were like in support and everything. And I was like, okay. And then people in the chat who had been there for a while were like, okay. Hello, Darrion. You know, it did not take long for you to become welcomed into the community and everything. So I want to hear from your side. Like, how was it from your perspective?
Well, it's been a whirlwind, really. I suppose you must have come up on my FYP at some point, and I'm going to be really honest with you and say the first thing I thought was, "Damn, that's a beautiful man." before I even went into your space, I was like, "Okay, cool. I like pretty people. Let me take a listen to see what the space is about," because you were either going to get me coming up to cuss you because you're being misogynistic, or I'm going to come up to help you advocate for it. And so I listened to you for a little while, and I was like, "Oh, okay. So he's pretty, and he's got a head on him. You know, like he's like unpacking stuff, and you know, doing what some might say is great work." And I was like, "Okay, let me see if I can find a way to support him." And from the first time I got up there, I think we just fostered quite a nice synergy. And people started to see that we kind of bounced off each other. And before I knew it, everyone came to expect me to be in your lives. And it's been really nice. I love coming on. Love being around you, man.
We love having you here as well. It's amazing. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today with you is, you know, intersectionality has always been something that has been spoken about. Something that, again, is also an area that I need to increase my education in and knowledge, because, you know, to begin with, it was very much focusing on misogyny. And obviously when you come into intersections, we start talking about, you know, race, sexuality, the LGBTQIA plus community. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And so when we have these conversations, I think there's often times when people come up to the panel and they will be talking about things in relation to race. And I'm fully aware that sometimes with that, potentially I might be out of my depth on understanding how to explain it. And, you know, straight away you're there requesting because you know what to say and you know how to sort of handle those conversations, which is amazing. And I think sometimes, you know, it's like, at what point do I then handle those conversations? But then that's also at the expense of then not so much silencing you, but then almost being like, there's nothing for you to come up for to talk about, right? So it's kind of like providing a safe space where people can also come up and express any kind of systemic issues that they're facing.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you as well, in regards to, you know, being gay, what that's like in terms of the systemic things that you face, and how that applies to whether or not gay people can also uphold misogyny.
Okay, so like when it comes to gay people upholding misogyny, it often gets brushed under the carpet.
Okay.
And I say that because gay men particularly will find their safe space and comfort in women. And as a result, women also find comfort in gay men. Because they think, yeah, great, a man who likes men like me, but also isn't going to hit on me and therefore is quote unquote harmless. But that's not always the case. It's like I say, having people in proximity from a marginalized group doesn't mean that you're not actually doing harm to them. Like, I'm black, I'm your friend, but you can never say to someone, I've got a black friend, so I'm not racist. And the same thing actually happens for gay men in misogyny, is that just because you've got friends that are women doesn't mean you're not misogynistic. One of the things that often comes up is that gay men particularly, will actively talk about female genitalia in a really negative way, like vaginas. They'll start gagging at it, pretending to throw up. And that's really harmful. There's nothing gag worthy or making you want to throw up about a vagina. It's a body part. Like, a lot of people have them. You're around them. A lot of us came from them. Another one of the things that happens, and I know I've been guilty of this in the past, is that, I will have a female friend that I'm very close with, and we're so comfortable around each other that I don't think about, like, consenting, like, going, look at your babies, like, and just grabbing them. And she's been comfortable and fine with it, but it doesn't mean it weren't harmful. Just because she said it was okay doesn't mean it was a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And that happens so often that it gets brushed under the carpet because they're friends. But actually, it's still just as harmful as if anyone else was doing it. Just because your friend says it's okay doesn't mean it's not still causing harm.
So would you say that gay people uphold aspects of misogyny in different ways to heterosexual people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Like I say, because they find their safe space in each other, they are very fiercely loyal with each other. Gay men in particular will definitely stand up for women more than straight men will. If they see a woman in crisis or in danger, you're more likely to find a gay man to step into a situation to defend her. Even strangers, they're statistically more likely to do it because they have a level of protection over for women. And as a result, that creates quite a conflict between heterosexual men and homosexual men, because they are still men at the end of the day, and they still grow up in a system that perpetuates that harm against women. So in that regard, while they may be both different sides of the same coin, they are still doing the harm, even if not intentional. It's like we always say, intention doesn't really outweigh the impact. And you're still harmful.
And I think a lot of men don't recognize the impact part.
Right.
So they don't, it's almost like they think that because the intention wasn't there, they don't understand what the impact actually does as a knock-on effect.
Right.
And so for them, it's almost like, well, as long as if my intent's not there, then I'm not trying to be harmful or rude. So therefore, what's the problem?
Right. And I think that's often a conversation that we are always trying to have. How much can we give leeway to someone's intent versus the long-standing impact their harm is actually perpetuating? I've been on a journey for myself as a man, as a black man, as a queer man, to unpack a lot of the stuff that I've internalized. That doesn't mean that, throughout my unpacking, I've unintentionally caused harm. Like, of course I've done that. Me not wanting to cause harm doesn't alleviate the fact that the harm's caused in the first place. It's like when people say, I'm saying the N-word in songs. Okay, your intention wasn't to be harmful, but that word has some weight to it. It's still violent. There's still people, losing their lives to people saying that word. So when you don't intend to, it's kind of irrelevant, because the harm is that people are still being hurt because of it. And the same goes for men. The same goes for misogynistic men. You can intend not to be harmful with your words, with your rhetoric, with your behavior. But if you go out and are still causing harm to women with your behavior, your intention doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything in comparison to the lives that are lost and the lives affected by your misogyny. And so we're constantly talking about it. I don't think it's going to be a conversation that stops anytime soon until we recognise the severity.
No, absolutely. I think that's always going to be there. And I think, unfortunately, it's different levels of that impact and intent from men, because I think there are a lot of men that do intend to continue with their beliefs whilst not recognizing how harmful it is, also not caring maybe. One of the questions I wanted to ask you as well then is, when we again talk about intersections, you're black, you're gay, and queer and pansexual.
Yes.
Is that right? So the intersections there, how does that weigh up in terms of almost the more intersections you have in terms of facing oppressive systems? How difficult is that then to navigate when you also come onto these spaces where you are constantly hearing I would say the majority of the time when men want to try and intentionally take the live down, they always come in with, you mentioned earlier, the N word. And so what they want to do, and again, even things like homophobic language, right? So it's always those things that these men go to try and put some sort of I don't know, an insult or a way to take the live down.
Yeah.
That's more that then, as much as the space is obviously, centering women, there's actually other demographics, even if you're a man, that it affects.
Yeah. I'll be really honest and say to you, sometimes it's hard. It's harder than it is easy. Because existing in the intersections between race and sexuality, especially for someone who's black, comes at a great detriment to how safe we feel in any space. As a black man, I don't feel safe in a lot of white spaces. As a queer man, I don't feel feel safe in a lot of black spaces. And so finding a pocket on the internet that is safer for me, that I feel comfortable in, is always going to be like vital to how much I feel like I can talk and say on the internet. And your space, when it happens all the time, like you say, people come up to quickly like pivot the live off of what we're talking about in order to bring up race in that regard, or be homophobic. It's taxing. It's sad. It's also it's weighted. I'll say it's weighted because there's a heaviness to wanting to advocate for women and continue that fight, while also knowing that I'm next on the chopping block for these men who don't care or want to derail the life. I'm fully aware of it. I expect it by now.
Yeah.
If they want to derail a life, their next best target of doing that is to be homophobic or be racist. And unfortunately for me, I exist at the intersections of those identities. I'm going to be at the suffering of those words. So it does weigh heavy. I do have to take breaks, but like I say to everyone, the fight is always there the next day. No matter how much I take a break, I will be back.
Yeah.
Because the work is never done and the education never stops.
And I think that, the reason why I speak about this is because I can imagine that when I've gone into other lives where they're not even talking about things that are, misogyny related, the same words are used to try and get the live taken down. So you never hear misogynistic rhetoric to try and get lives taken down. And so I even wonder, within these systems that we speak of, misogyny isn't seen to be as bad of a thing to uphold in comparison to things like racism or homophobia or transphobia. And I don't mean that as if to say that it's any less important or more important, but it's just very interesting how the system works in that way.
Yeah, I say it all the time as well, is that people are more comfortable with the idea of being misogynistic than they ever will be comfortable with the idea of being racist. You see it all the time. The moment that, we're talking about misogyny, men can sit up there for hours and talk about how misogynistic their rhetoric is and still not believe it and still take it on board, but still not take it on board. But the moment you start to unpick what they've said about race and start to say, hey, what you said there's a bit racist. How dare you? I'm not a racist. I've grown up around lots of black people. My uncle's aunt's best friend's girlfriend is black. I would never... Hold on. Who's even talking about her? What you've said is still harmful. What you've said is still racist. But it happens every time. They are more concerned with the idea of being looked at as racist than the racism itself. And they'd prefer to be misogynistic than they would ever think to be racist.
Yeah.
I think with a lot of these oppressive systems and how they operate is that people don't understand that these words are not synonymous with bad person. They're just calling a spade a spade. If it walks like a duck, it sounds like a duck, it looks like a duck, it's a fucking duck.
Chances are it's a duck.
Chances are it's a duck, you know? And I'm not calling you a bad person for it. I'm just saying, hey, what you said there,
Sounds
a little racist.
Sounds a bit duckish.
Sounds a bit duckish. So, it's unfortunate, but it's something that, again, we learn to expect in these spaces. You learn to expect while you're having these conversations because they're uncomfortable. And these conversations are uncomfortable. And while people are not comfortable with sitting in that discomfort, we will always get that deflection. We will always get that conflict, that combatants when trying to engage honestly.
One of the things that you once said when you joined the space, which I think is what really resonated with a lot of people, to an analogy, which also kind of not helped solidify your presence there, but just more like Darrion coming in with the gems, is the shark analogy. And I'm wondering, for those that maybe who haven't heard that, it's attached to misogyny, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you could just kind of explain that again, so that people who maybe don't listen to the lives are able to at least hear it here and understand, again, the ways that we try to explain to men the experiences that women have of men.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, a lot of the conversations we have surrounding men is that that we're not all dangerous. So why should women like be fearful of all of us? And we tell them that there's lots of statistics backing it up. And they go, yeah, but that's a small percentage of men. So my response is often to them, okay, so we as a society, we can all agree that shark attacks are not something that we're looking for as human beings, correct? Yeah? We know that from just a little amount of documented shark attacks that we see on the internet. I think there's last time I checked, there was 47 in the last 2 years. And that's a really small amount. But we recognize that as a human species, we're not to get in close proximity with a shark. As a result, I made that comparison because we have statistics to back up the fact that men are women's predators. We have those same stats. So if we as a human race can understand that being around shark is dangerous, why is it so hard for you to grasp that women who have the stats to back it up, who have the experience to back it up, cannot think the same thing about men?
Just to add on to that as well, is when you say that men are women's biggest predator, they're also men's.
They're also men's.
Common
denominator is man.
Yeah. And the analogy that I mean, to echo onto that, the analogy I use is the men in the room one. Right. Which is like, if you and I were in a room with 98 other men, a woman walks in and someone says, just to let you know, 10 of these men are dangerous. Which ones are they? She doesn't know.
She doesn't know.
So she's not saying they're all dangerous.
No.
But she will probably be wary and cautious of all the men in that room because she doesn't know which ones are.
Right.
Which is completely understandable and reasonable.
Right.
Even if you were to then take it to other analogies, the thing that gets me is how men know that men are, potentially dangerous because as soon as it impacts them or their relationships, they get it. So I always say, why is it that boyfriends don't like their girlfriends going clubbing, especially if it's without them, right? And they'll say things like, well, she might cheat. And as soon as they say that, I say, okay, would you feel more comfortable then if they were at a woman's club? And it's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, fine. So basically what you're saying there is if men weren't around, you'd feel comfortable. But whether that's from your girlfriend's perspective or the other man, it wouldn't happen if the man wasn't there anyway for it to be with. But secondly, what else do you worry about? And they'll openly say someone could hurt her, someone could SA her, someone could put something in her drink. And it's like, again, if you're going to be completely honest with yourself, these are the behaviors of men.
Yeah.
Now, if you're saying that it's a few percentage or a small amount of men out there that are doing these things, then how would you feel if your uncomfortableness about your partner being around these men at a club, whoever they are, how would you feel if she said to you, well, it's not all men, it's just a small amount?
Right.
You're not going to feel better. You're not going to feel like, oh, yeah, okay, off you go. Like, now I feel great. Now I feel okay. So there's contradictions here.
100%.
When it benefits men to uphold the belief of how they view men, they'll do that. And that ends up being in a way of potentially controlling your partner, or at least the insecurity being projected onto your partner or feeling uncomfortable about her going out.
It's funny you say that. There's so many contradictions with the way men view women. One of the things that I've recently been engaging with is that men and consent, right? Men are often struggling with this idea of consent surround women because there are quote unquote grey areas. However, we don't see these grey areas come up when these same men encounter gay men, encounter queer men who have an affinity to be attracted to other men. It's at that point that they know that consent's a real boundary, that they get to say no, that you're allowed to say I'm uncomfortable and everyone has to back off. But when the shoe is on the other foot, there's a grey area.
Yeah. absolutely.
So it's just contradictions come up regularly, and it's unfortunate, but it's one of those battles that we're going to contend with perhaps forever. You know, not in this lifetime. That we'll see that undo.
No, but we do our best to make a change. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Let's move on to the next part of this episode, which I think you're going to really enjoy, which is Let's Have a Laugh. It's time for Let's Have a Laugh. Now, the reason why we're going to do this is because Darrion and I have got a very, very friendly relationship with one another, haven't we?
That's definitely some way to put it. Yeah, 100%.
And so we're going to play a really fun game, which is that we have basically both put 5 items in a bag for one another that we don't know. We're going to take one out, and we're just going to say firstly what we think it is, and then throw some innuendos out just to see what kind of reaction we get. Do you want me to go first? Or
Go
you
first.
You want me to go first?
Go first.
Okay. Okay. So a charger.
Mm-hmm.
Just an ordinary.
Just an ordinary
charger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's got quite a long cable, hasn't it?
It does have a long cable.
It's probably got you going.
It does have a long cable.
It actually feels really warm. Have you used it? It's actually hot.
Yeah,
it's hot.
I've used it.
You've been using it recently. What have you been charging up?
Let's just say my tank is not full, but give me a moment to charge up and I'll be with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet that lands well.
It does the job, mate.
Does
it?
The job. Okay, I don't know what I can. Okay, so super fast charging. Actually says that on the safety mark.
I like the look of your cord, mate.
You like? Wow,
Yeah.
you've been pre-thinking these.
No. That's just come out. That's just come out right there.
You like the look of my cord?
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's flexible, bendy. I like it. It's good. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good for a first one.
Oh,
okay.
is it my turn now?
It's your turn now. Your turn. First thing that comes out. What have you got there,
So
Doug?
this is a toy, but a toy horn.
Well, yeah, a toy trumpet.
A toy trumpet.
Give
Trumpet.
Give it a blow.
Give it a blow, shall I?
Go on. See what sound it makes when you get it. Oh. Just so you know, you can play with it. There's... Oh.
Wow.
Did you enjoy that?
That was interesting, yeah. That...
Are you pushing the right buttons?
Maybe,
Firstly?
I don't know.
I think you are. I reckon you're actually really enjoying that.
It does fit my mouth well, yeah, to be
Right.
fair. It does.
Okay, cool.
It does. I quite enjoy it. It's a nice shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it's got a lot of different colours.
Uh-huh.
Adds a bit of interest to it to look at.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of like traffic lights. You know? Like, hey, red go. Red stop.
Red stop.
Red stop.
Okay, red stop.
Blue, we're kind of cool.
Yeah.
But green, go, go, go. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This trumpet's making me horny. Absolutely.
Wow. Horny on it.
But
That's it. Yeah, yeah, that's it. All right. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh. Oh, it's that because you're my number one fan. Is that what it is?
I am your number one.
This is what was charging, isn't it? So you basically just bought two things connected to each other and thought, if I separate, I've got two items. That was what you decided to do. Why is it not turning?
I don't know why it's not turning on.
Why can't I turn it on? I feel like I am pressing the right buttons.
There is only one button to press. Can you find it though?
It's rapid thumb movement. Well, it's not working though.
Rapid
thumb movement.
Uh-huh.
Fingers. No, the thumb's definitely.
Uh-huh.
It's just not. What am I supposed to do with that?
A moment to cool off.
What are people meant to do without a working toy? Seriously.
You're right. I let the side down.
It's interesting because you had one that you can blow, and this one instead will blow me. So that's right. So technically, mini handheld fan. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, 100%.
That's good. Okay, your turn.
Okay. All right, let's see.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to me indeed.
Oh.
What are these called again? These are like I can't remember what they're called.
I'm not going to tell you. I know what they're called.
But I know that like doctors wear them, and they're like, I need to just listen to your heartbeat right there, or your breath sounds. Yeah,
Dr. D.
Dr. D's in the house. Yeah, 100%.
Called a stethoscope.
A stethoscope?
Yeah,
right.
it is, isn't it?
I don't know. Is it a stethoscope?
Do you know what? Even if it's not, I'm going with it. I'm sure it is. It is. Yeah. Okay. What's your heart rate at the moment?
Honestly, it's quite high.
Is it pounding?
If you can just take a deep breath for me right now.
Do you know what though? People who don't know us, this is it. This is what our banter is like, right?
This is what we do.
Yeah.
This is like when we're having conversations surrounding unpacking stuff. This is actually mostly what we're talking about.
We have well, not mostly, because otherwise that sounds like there's no unpacking. Mostly.
I have none for this. A stethoscope.
No, you did. Like you wanted to listen to the.
You're right. I did want to listen to someone's deep breath.
That was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was tasty.
All right.
That's better.
Okay. My turn or you? Oh, it's my turn. Okay, 1 second.
This better not be a third item that plugs into the first two.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay. No shade here. Have these got lenses?
Yeah.
These got. You're short-sighted. You are, aren't you?
I think so. I don't know which one it is. Which one's short-sighted? Is that when I can't see details like from afar? Cute.
Am I giving off librarian vibes?
Sexy secretary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 100%.
So nice.
Glasses are nice.
Do you know what? I prefer to have them off because then I can see you in more HD.
Cute.
What about that?
Me?
Is that a good line?
That was nice.
Okay.
That was nice. Me, I like to wear them to see what you're packing.
Ooh.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
I'd love to see what you're packing.
Well,
in the front
when this finishes,
or in the back.
Well, when this finishes, we'll pack them up. Okay, your turn.
There's so much to say.
What is it, Darrion? For the listeners, what is it?
It looks like a spaceship, but I'm gonna go out on a limb. I don't. Juicer.
A juicer.
A juicer.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. You squeeze. What you do is you cut half a lemon.
Half a lemon.
Or an orange.
Or an orange.
Or a lime. You grab it, or a lime.
Or lime.
Right, you grab it.
Yeah.
Whilst holding firm onto that so that doesn't fall down. Gently put it on top.
Mm-hmm.
And then you slowly twist. And then eventually you have to get a bit harder and harder.
Harder and harder.
Yeah. And then what happens is the juices come out.
So what I'm getting is you rub the top and some juices come out.
Well, something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
Because if you see, it drips down the middle.
Oh my god, yeah.
And that point there is where it will all get collected, and obviously you have something underneath to gather said juices.
That's really. How did they find the most sexual and complicated way to juice something?
I don't think the intent there was to be. Apparently, this is an ornament. As in, this is an ornament that is quite not sought for, but let's say it's a work of art, if I'm not mistaken.
How very bougie of you.
I know. Well, not necessarily of me, but yeah.
Joe.
Well, yes, bougie of my partner, which we bring it here to just show the bouginess of it, but it's amazing. Okay, my turn?
Yes, your turn.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is big. What is it?
Yes.
Wow. Cocoa butter body lotion for very dry skin. Leaves skin smooth, supple, and beautifully glowing. I actually think if I could read this out, even instructions and things, I reckon that would be quite essential.
It would
should we
be
give it a go?
Give it a go.
Okay. specially formulated to create a protective barrier that helps lock in moisture for 24 hours, leaving skin soft and smooth. Deeply hydrating, giving skin a beautiful glow. Apply daily after bathing, bit like ketchup, or showering, or as required. Massage in until fully absorbed, paying attention to elbows, knees, and heels.
They are like what is it? Like the central.
That
points?
is so interesting. Like when I think of this, the last thing I think is like make sure I get my elbows. Do you know what I mean? I'm like hands, maybe even face.
Yeah.
I'd be like I know your elbows are part of your arm, but
Yeah.
I'd be like get the arms and get the legs. You know what I mean?
But you just don't think your elbows.
I would never have thought like, God, get them heels.
Get them heels.
Get them heels. Goodness me. Oh, interesting. I like
Buttering you up, am I?
that. Oh,
Yeah.
Darrion.
Gonna let you in, am I? Gonna butter
Buttering
you up
you.
and let you in.
I like. Wow. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Your turn.
All right.
Okay.
What's this? This is another toy. Can we see that Lex is a fan of toys? Can we? A toy drill.
A toy drill.
I'm going to drill into you.
God.
Right now. Extra hard.
Whoa.
The way we like it. It's going to be firm at the end
Do you not want to turn it on? So you thought it wasn't going to work.
That is,
It's not bad, right?
yeah.
What's firm grip?
Firm grip.
Firm grip.
Thick.
But fairly steady on the spinning as well.
Yeah.
You know, like gives a
Consistent.
consistency is key.
100%.
Yeah. Bish,
Wow.
Bish bash bosh.
Bosh.
Let's see the Bosch. It's Bosch.
Bosch.
Brand. Bosch.
Bosh.
Bosch.
Bosh.
Bosch. I think we've only got one item left each now, haven't we?
Possibly.
Okay.
That might be a thing.
Oh my god. He's still...
I love this drill. It is.
Seriously, was this the item or was this just unlucky?
Huh?
Was this the item or was this just in your bag?
That.
This was the item.
That might be an item.
A pencil.
Yeah. Hey. I'm.
Very creative, I can tell.
Yeah.
Pencil.
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
Okay. Well. It could rub off on you. Long, sturdy, thin. Play with it.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
There were some pencil tricks right there.
Man knows how to use a pencil. That was not bad. Curiously questioning you on why lime as a colour.
Do you know what? Between every blue and lime green, they are my favourite colours.
Oh, really?
Every kind of blue,
Yeah.
but lime green specifically.
So like Clitosaurus Lex over here.
Clitosaurus Lex
Yeah.
is my favourite thing in the entire world.
Amazing. Okay.
Yes.
One more item for you.
I know where he is. What is this now? Wait. Is this a little juicer?
It's a mini juicer.
A mini juicer?
Yeah.
So, small.
So bearing in mind, right, when I first got with my partner and she brought all of her stuff to the house, that was the first thing I saw. I didn't see the big one. That was the first thing. So not having a clue what it was, I did question whether it was potentially a toy.
Yeah.
Until then, I saw that one and thought it can't be. There's no way you're looking to get to those levels. So I didn't know what they were to begin with.
I could see this being a toy properly. Like legitimately you almost wish it could vibrate. You know?
I don't. Sorry. I don't. But I could see why some people might like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's like compact. Gets the job done.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And also like these end bits. Like
Yeah.
it's
Like, what's the word to describe that kind of, you know, when that feeling is going
yeah,
along?
it's that kind of sensuality.
That's
to,
it,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? Scratching myself, but yeah.
Fair enough. That concludes our items. The reason why I wanted to do this activity, though, if I'm completely honest with you, is because one of the biggest things that we obviously talk about is things like locker room banter
Mm-hmm.
and talk between men,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so what I wanted to ask was, coming off of what we recently spoke about with regards to misogyny, is
Yeah.
how do men know where the line is? Because obviously, you know, we were talking about things there in regards to innuendos. We were linking it to, I suppose, you know, sexual jokes and things. Where is the line in regards to men out there thinking, well, what can I say? What can't I say? Why is that something that is too far? How do you differentiate that?
For me, I'd always err on the side of caution of people being the butt of the joke. Because the moment that women become the butt of the joke, you're treading on some pretty dangerous territory. If you're able to have like jokes about sex, that's a very different thing. But the moment you start to think that you can, you know, slut shame women for having sex and think that that's a joke, that's not a joke. That's just misogynistic. The moment you start to degrade women for their bodies, that's not a joke. That's just misogynistic. Objectifying, you know. All these things that could be a conversation, but making sure that women are not at the butt of the joke of it, that's kind of where you have to kind of keep it separate. If you're just having a joke about sex, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but locker room talk mostly isn't actually sex jokes. When we talk about this, it is not jokes about sex. It's them sharing nudes of girls they got off of, or talking about how they've just quote unquote smashed a girl from the year group, and that's not jokes.
It's the words attached to the so-called action or activity that they've been involved with that person as well that make it that degrading aspect of it.
Right.
Where it's like, I'm not treating you with respect.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you in a way where what I'm doing, similar to what I said previously from someone on our live who we know, who always says that, you know, a lot of men assume that sex is being done to a woman,
yes,
rather than with a woman.
Yes, and they talk about it that specific way, like, she'd get it. I'd smash her back doors in. All these things here that like contribute to this, like
Grape culture,
culture, and it is problematic. You can't. There's no escaping that. So it's just, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is something that really needs to be spoken about at a young age, because we start doing it from a young age. I myself remember being part of those conversations where, you know, I didn't mean it like in a degrading way, but I was still participating in degrading grape culture conversations. It's not about, you know, your intention again. It's about the impact it has.
Yeah. Does that happen again within different communities, demographics? Like, is that expressed and spoken about differently?
What do you mean?
So when we have, for example, the way that maybe gay people would talk about sex, would they be expressing that in ways towards men?
See, again, that's it toes a very interesting line, because there are parts of the community that will talk about sex with men in a degrading way. And, you know, that again is them internalizing the stuff that they see their straight counterparts do and thinking that it's an acceptable way to talk about and objectify other people. But there are other people that don't talk about it like that. There are ways to have healthy conversations surrounding sex without making people the butt of the jokes. You know,
I think that's the issue as well, is that because men get so comfortable in their friendship groups, they very rarely will like want to take that step of challenging each other, because it's almost like, who's going to be the one to say it? Well, it's easier not to. And I always question this, right? What sort of a friendship do you have when you can't challenge each other and then think that that's going to be detrimental to the whole friendship?
right.
Like, you know, I want you to be better. I want you to be able to help yourself, and I want you to have the opportunity to grow. But if I call you out on that, then maybe the friendship is gone. Like, how strong is that friendship to begin with?
Right.
And aside from that, it would be asking, is it more of a case of it's easier for us to just trust each other with the stuff we want to say, because that's just easier? And like, it doesn't take much for me to step outside of my comfort zone. You know,
for me as a person, I don't have anyone around me that I can't talk to. about their behavior. I'm always of the mindset that anyone who talks to me leaves better than when they came, and I take that into all my friendships. And so I should be able to say to you as my friend, I love you, but what you did was not okay. I want better for you. I expect better from you.
Yeah.
And I know you're better than that. And it not affect our friendship to the point where I feel like it's going to suffer for that. And I expect the same backwards. I can't tell you how many times I would say to my friends who are around me, seeing me act up, and go, if you saw me acting up, tell me.
Yeah.
If I don't notice it, I'm not going to know to fix it. It's important. I have healthier friendships. Be able to call it out where you see it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And with that, I think it's time for us to Lex Hale. And time to Lex Hale and discuss something that I think is extremely important, a journey that I'm kind of going on as much as I can in regards to unpacking internalized racism. I think we've discussed earlier that race gets used an awful lot in a lot of these spaces as a way to try and justify certain generalizations that you can and can't apply to men, whilst not recognizing that gender and race are entirely different. Can you maybe give me some examples, if you can, of the most common forms of, internalized racism that people do have in regards to like stereotypes and how you kind of hear that on the online space quite a lot?
The main crux of racism is the ability to dehumanize Black people and people of color. But we'll focus on Black people specifically because in order for colonization and slavery to permit, white people needed to feel comfortable about doing that to Black people. And the only way they could do that is by making sure that they recognized that Black people were not human. One of the ways they did this is to create this narrative that Black people are aggressive and unhuman-like. And this combination trickles down all the way from then into stuff like now what we might see is Black on Black crime might come up, gang violence, how Black women who are just passionate about something are aggressive, and this angry Black woman, all these tropes that are associated to aggression or violence or anger all contribute to this stuff that white people and Black people have also internalized. Because let's be very clear about something. It is not just white people walking around with anti-Blackness. The same way that women grow up in a society that is misogynistic, Black people grow up in a society that is anti-Black. And so we also internalize a lot of that as well. And so it comes out in exactly the same way. You will find Black people saying the same thing as their white counterparts. Okay. That's the crux of it. You'll then start to see that it falls down into other categories and branches out when we start talking about misogyny in the medical field.
Yep.
Black women not feeling the same pain levels as white women, and that being a contributing factor as to why Black maternal mortality rates are higher than their white counterparts, because they're not believed about the level of pain they're in. That again is dehumanizing, because they expect that Black people don't feel pain the same way white people do.
Right.
All this is contributing to this very massive yet small idea that Black people are less than human. And the more you start to pick it out, that it comes out in its little forms, like talking about how, someone might think that I'm being aggressive when you're live, and it's like, whoa, where have you seen aggression? I've not raised my voice. I may interrupt you because I'm a mod, I have that power, but I've not been aggressive. I've not been rude. I've not been violent. I've not made any threats. But that description gets used about me when I'm saying the same thing as you or some of the white women that are on the panel. And it's like, that's the crux of it,
Yeah. And I think one of the questions I asked you a while ago, which I think you should probably still explain, because I think a lot of people might still have that same question, is at what point at what point can people feel like when there is potentially aggression within what's being said, it's allowed to be mentioned, when a lot of men will sort of say, well, actually, I think I am hearing aggression, and I'd say the same to a white person, but how that actually is still very different.
Yes.
It's because of the judgments that are made and how they sort of the stigma goes against, for example, black women or black men in that.
Right.
And how that like plays out in society.
It's so important that everyone checks themselves before making comments. I've said it to you plenty of times. When I go on your lives, you will never know it, but I've thought about what I'm going to say 5 to 7 times in the span of me talking about it, because I never want to be someone who like is harmful. I may make mistakes, but I try not to do that. I'm very conscious of the fact that words have meaning and they hold weight to different demographics. You know, like a lot of people over here, when we talk about cigarettes, a lot of people call them, you know, the F word. But over in America, they don't understand that. And so we have to be mindful of the fact that, you know, when we have these words that we want to say about people, how is that going to translate? Is it going to cause more harm than it is good? What about my feeling about this is based in reality, and what about it is based off my preconceived notions about what that person is? So much of what gets said about the black people on your space comes from people having their preconceived notions about what black people are. I might be passionate about something, but you'll never catch me be aggressive to someone. I don't have it in me. But that word gets used about me all the time, and it's like, how much of that is rooted in reality, and how much of that is just you thinking that it's reality because you're uncomfortable with a black person being passionate about what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's making that distinction. It's understanding that everything is contextualized through the way we experience the world. The way I experience the world as a black man, the way you experience the world as a white man. And if your contextualization of our interaction is based off your white lens, you will never, until you do your own journey of unpacking, you won't be able to humanize my passion. There will always be a level of discomfort surrounding my passion, because it will read to you as aggressive or violent. So it's being hyper aware of our own experiences.
Yeah, and I think that one of the most common things that I find being able to identify it, which has taken a while because, like you say, if it's fair to say it's inherent.
Yes.
Is when I've had yourself or a black woman on my panel, and maybe a white man is talking and has been talking to me for a while, back and forth conversation. But then when you or maybe a black woman has been talking to him, he will interrupt a fair few times. And it's not about the fact that he is interrupted. It's about the fact that he didn't interrupt me.
No, yeah.
And the fact that he did interrupt you and maybe a black woman.
Yes.
So is that misogyny? Well, sorry, misogyny, misogynoir, racism. Like, what is that? Like, is it a multitude of all, or is there one that comes first? Like, how would you kind of look at that and say this is what's happening right now?
Well, it depends. It's in relation with who's up on the panel at the time, because what we see is that when it's you versus a white woman, they're still very quick to interrupt the white woman, and that there is their misogyny leaking through and through, because that's the demographic difference between yourself and the white woman on the panel with you. Whereas when you and I are on the panel, it's very obviously racism, because you and I are both men. We identify as men. Our pronouns are he, him. We don't have a lot of differences, even in the stances that we take. So what has to be coming out is racism. If it's a black woman on the panel, and for some reason they've gone as far as to respect my authority on the panel, respect the white woman's authority on the panel, and then also yours, but not the black woman, we've ticked off a bunch of the other ones, and what we're left with is misogynoir.
What if it was just myself and a black woman?
Yeah.
And the white man was interrupting her? Would that be misogynoir or racism?
It'd be misogynoir.
Before racism.
I'd argue that we wouldn't be able to tell the difference, because misogynoir is racism plus misogyny.
Right, it's included.
It's the same thing. It's where that intersection meets, and
Yeah.
how black women are treated ever so differently from black men, but they still experience the same racism.
So is the aspect of it being inherent the fact that they aren't even aware that they're doing it for that reason?
Right.
Okay.
Inherent is about being taught it, so much so that it's ingrained in you, so that it comes out in ways that you're not even intending it to. It's about the where you've grown up, what you've internalized from what you've seen, and how you navigate the world in retrospect to those experiences. And so a lot of people don't even realize they're doing it.
Yeah.
We've seen it time and time again. Did anyone else notice that he's interrupting Darrion just then? He hasn't interrupted any white person on this panel, but every time Darrion spoke, he interrupted him, and everyone in our chat clocks it just as much as we do.
Yeah. I think what's interesting is obviously we talk about privilege a lot, and we sometimes hear this conversation of how in certain like jobs, I don't quite necessarily know whether it's like, not to meet a quota, but certain companies are obviously being a lot more inclusive.
Yes.
And then you get a lot of white people, like men and women maybe, who are sort of saying, I'm being pushed out and losing privilege because of the company meeting a certain intersectional quota. And I think what's really interesting is that, what they can't quite recognize is, if everybody started a brand new clean slate where everybody was on an equal playing field and had access to everything on an equal way, which is obviously not how the world was, would you be viewing it in the same way?
Right.
Whereas, you believe that you're losing privilege rather than seeing more equity being available for equality to exist.
Right.
Which is something that should have been in place ages ago. But because it's happening more now to try and, bridge that gap, you're viewing it as yourself losing that privilege.
Yep.
And I think that's something that I think a lot of, white people seem to find really difficult to understand as a concept, because they now think they're being punished for being white.
Right. And I often say this to a lot of people, is that white people are so comfortable in their privilege that to them equality feels like oppression.
Yep.
And it's this discomfort with watching people that don't look like you get what they deserve. Because they're not less qualified. They are equally as qualified. They're just saying, hey, you're qualified, you're also qualified. We've got enough white women or white men in this company. Let's invite a black man to interview. Let's invite a black woman to interview, an Asian woman to interview. All these people, because we don't have enough. That's all it is. And it's that discomfort that they don't recognize is privilege. You get to feel uncomfortable because black people are getting more now, because for so long you were the standard. We didn't get invited to interviews. In fact, even now, there are a lot of companies throwing out black sounding names on CVs
if they don't feel they can pronounce them.
Yeah. And not even just that. If it looks like, if it's a Jamal, if it's anything that doesn't sound white, it gets thrown out. We won't even get an interview.
There's actually studies that have been done on that.
Right.
I think like depending on, again, names and demographics, or sort of like, where it's from, let's say the name, the percentage changes.
100%. And this is still happening. So when I hear people talk about how much they're losing from DEI, I'm like, grow up. grow up.
But this is it. And I think, like, I don't want to bring up any names, but obviously recently a discussion was made that it's almost... If you're being solely hired on that, then is that not then, meaning the quality can potentially be less because you're focused on, and it's like, well, no, because if you're both qualified,
right,
then there's nothing that separates the two.
Right. And, even one of the things that springs to mind is someone discussing whether someone is like qualified to fly an airplane. And it's like, well, yeah, you've spent I think a minimum of 1,500 hours flight time that everyone has to get under.
Yep.
And you have to do those 1,500 hours both on emulation and real flight time before you can get your commercial flight in hours. And if anyone does pass that wasn't supposed to pass, not only do you lose your license, but the person who taught you loses their license and their teaching license as well. So it is very hard to be able to say that black people black pilots aren't qualified, or people who it's very unlikely. It's not happening. One of the things that I want to take a moment to highlight is that currently in America specifically, black women are among the most educated, and that doesn't mean to say that they are quote unquote the smartest. It just means that they are going out and they're getting their education at a lot of higher rates than other demographics. Now, to sit here and tell me that the black women who beat you to a job offer isn't qualified, while we know black women are getting their education at higher rates than other people, those two things just don't match up to me. And I will always question anyone who tries to tell me that.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem, right? Is thinking that you are being disadvantaged without actually recognizing how. It kind of goes back to my previous point, wasn't it? In respect of, did everybody have the same equitable access to said education? Did everybody maybe have the equitable access to the ability to pay for certain courses, whereby to become a pilot is not cheap?
It's not cheap.
And so, was the money available, resources, etc., for families on an equitable level from all backgrounds to be able to say that the opportunity was equal across all?
And with that, so much of society's history with racism has left black families out of the conversation, because for a long time, black people weren't allowed to get generational wealth, weren't allowed to build the generational wealth their white counterparts were. So much of what we see even on TV is you're from the wrong side of the tracks, which is code for that's where the poor people live. And then if you look at who's living in those poor people areas in your favorite TV shows and films, it's normally black people and Latino people and other people of color. And that plays out in real life. And when you realize that has real life connotations to it, you realize that actually, as much as things look to be equal now, white people have had 400 years head start on every other demographic. And even now, black people are still disadvantaged. As much as we're getting more equity, we still don't have it easy just to get a job.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately the way that, again, white people would view that is not understanding the history and roots of how anything that actually starts to become then a consistent theme is going to have a knock-on effect. And I don't think that people understand just how ingrained that is and how much of a setback that puts you. I don't want to try and conflict race with gender, but obviously at times we're talking about misogyny. And I acknowledge that, again, when we think of things like women's football, right, in the sense that, it was banned for 50 years. And if you think about how much money, time and effort could be put into, the media, the advertising of women's football, there were times when women's football were generating fans of 30 to 40,000. And the reason it got banned was because it was too successful.
Yes.
That was the reason why. Then when you start tapping into the aspect of the misogynoir, I don't want to tokenize. However, it's important to acknowledge what Serena Williams has faced.
Right.
Obviously, I've done videos on that as well to highlight, the way that she was depicted in comparison to John McEnroe with the cartoons.
Yep.
Also, the fact that she's, I think, the most tested women's tennis player for drugs. The fact that she's had certain matches where points have gone against her for the communication she's had, but when men have done it, it's been okay. The fact that when she challenges the umpire, that's been met with supposed aggression. But then when you've had men that have literally thrown their rackets and smashed it up, they've not had anywhere near the same kind of penalising that she has.
Right.
And then I think when you had Maria Sharapova, who actually did get found guilty for the drugs, she was able to bounce back from her career. And so it's like, this isn't just one or two things that have happened. This is actually a multitude. And I can't remember the name of the other tennis player. I think she might have been Asian, but she also experienced certain, let's say, treatment in comparison to others that was different. And it's like, these are consistent themes.
Yes.
And again, the way that the media covers it is also written very differently.
Yes.
So these are all other examples
all culminating to this marginalization of black people and people of color. And, I'm a firm believer that while white people don't take it seriously, it will continue to be an ongoing issue for everyone. The same way that I'd expect men to also start taking misogyny seriously, we all need to get comfortable with the idea that, hey, we've been getting things wrong for a very long time. We need to work to fix it so that eventually everything is equal.
Yeah.
That's what we're asking for. Nothing more, nothing less.
On that note, Darrion, it does draw us to a close of this Halloween special.
Halloween special.
I know. Will you return?
Absolutely. You can have me back whenever you want, bud.
I love that. I love
Always.
that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Lots of love. Shout out to everyone. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Appreciate it, buddy. And if you would like to get involved and potentially find yourself sitting opposite me for an episode, then please do get in touch. But aside from that, thank you for watching and appreciate all the support as always. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.